She say, my friend got shot. I said, the first thing I tell her again, like, is she all right? Because I don't know, is this a female or male? So I said, a she. I said, is she all right?
Wow.
She say, no, he a he. I said, is he all right? She say, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I said, well, forget it. I'm going to come over there and get my son because I don't want him to be around all that. She say, no, don't come over here. They think you had something to do with it. I say, what the fuck you mean they think I had something to do with it? You hear me? Both of them stories are basically all over the place. So, you know, the story was basically put together. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that was all the police story put it together. You know what I'm saying? To make them say what they said. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And they, you know, they already put me in the lineup. And they was there in the lineup. They never identified me in the lineup. You hear me?
Who was that,
so,
bro?
They had all the witnesses there, basically like the mom, the daughter, and one guy named Gregory Owens. He pulled up to the area. His son's birthday was that day, so he was bringing him a party gift for wherever when he was getting off work, and he heard all the gunshots. The man supposed to ran right past him and pulled out a weapon, and he started shooting at the corner. That's what he said. He never got a good chance to see the person's face. All he knows is the man was 5'5" to 5'7" or so. You know what I'm saying? But he never got a chance to see his face. He cleared me. You hear me? You know, he cleared me in the lineup. You know, because they didn't really use my kid, baby moms, and her moms to identify me in the lineup because they know who I'm in. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So what they do to them to try to trick them, they did what any police would do. You hear me? Take my picture around and take the victim picture around to them and basically tell them, do you know who this person is? Oh, okay. This person's name is Clyde Tony. All right, sign right here. You know? All right, we got that. Do you know who this person is? This person is Curtis Weekly. This is my kid's father. All right, sign right here. They took that to the grand jury. That's how they got their indictment. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know, people don't know. These people play these games like this for years, and they trick the witness to sign paperwork. You know what I'm saying? So they took that to a grand jury and got an indictment on me by using identification. You know what I'm saying? Identification means they use my picture. You know what I'm saying? Because the witness, when I was in the lineup, they cleared me from the lineup. I went home. You know, they released me. That's how the police was mad. You know what I'm saying? Because they didn't have the story. So what they do, they go back to their witness, you know, and put them on a crime scene. You hear me?
Yeah.
You know, and they got the brother basically saying a bullshit story. They got Veronica Griffin saying a bullshit story, saying I'm on the back porch. She overheard me saying I was going to kill somebody. You hear me? You know, didn't know what. So they forced her to say some shit like that. And they said I supposed to told my kid, mama, bitch, you shouldn't have been in the car. I should have killed you too. You hear me? Who say shit like that? You hear me? This ain't no motherfucking movie.
Veronica Griffin said that?
This what the detective told my kid moms to say. You hear me? You know, I supposed to call her and told her on the phone call. What the record's at on this? Because you recording everything, but why you ain't record this? You hear me? Or why you didn't say this? You hear me? You know,
right.
I supposed to call her and told her after when she called me and woke me up and told me her friend got hurt, and I asked her like, you know, because when she called my phone, my son picked up the phone because he thought it was his mom's. You hear me? You know, he picked up the phone because he thought it was his mom's, but it wasn't his mom. And he said, Mom crying. You hear me? This what one of my youngest kids say, like, man, Mom crying on the phone, Dad, you need to get the phone, you hear me? Because he thought this was his mom's. So I get the phone, it's my other kid mom's. So I'm asking her, like, what the fuck going on? What you crying for? Immediately I thought, like, it's something wrong with my youngest son because he ain't number 2 years old, going on 3, doing it at this time. So I'm immediately thinking, like, something wrong with him. So I was like, man, is he all right? She said, yeah, he all right. I said, so what the fuck is going on with you? She say, my friend got shot. I said, the first thing I said to her again, like, is she all right? Because I don't know, is it a female or male? So I said, a she. I said, is she all right? She say, no, he a he. I said, is he all right? She say, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I said, well, forget it. I'm going to come over there and get my son because I don't want him to be around all that. She say, no, don't come over here. They think you had something to do with it. I say, what the fuck you mean they think I had something to do with it? You hear me? So this where this conversation come up. Far as like they put me on a crime scene. Now, wishing I was there earlier, you know, because I brought Lucas over there. Lucas is with me too. I brought him over there. We all over there because my thing was to come over there and pick up my youngest son and take him with me. But by this, my baby mom's first son, first child, she didn't want me to really take him around my other kid mom, for him to be around her or whatever the case might be. So, wishing I understood that. You hear me? I get it. I get it. So, I sat there for like about an hour or two, smoked some marijuana with her and her mom and my little cousin. We sitting there smoking some marijuana, and I left. You know what I'm saying? I fed the whole house some McDonald's and I left. I couldn't take my son with me because by this being my kid mom's first child, she was overprotected. And I loved her for that. You know what I'm saying? Not because she didn't want him to be around nobody or nothing like that. And that wasn't even the case either because she didn't care about him being around nobody. She just wanted to be around him with everybody too. You understand what I'm saying? So I had love for that. But I get that phone call in the middle of the night by 1:30 in the morning. Right. They made it seem like I called her 1 o'clock in the morning and basically made up these little stories they made up. You hear me?
Did they show you the call records on that?
Oh, the call is on record when I called her and she called me. And she called me at about 1:30 at night, you know what I'm saying, letting me know, telling me what happened to her friend. And that was understandable. But my thing was they put me all involved because I was the kid father. So they basically was like forcing them to say I was this serial killer, passion, jealous dude. Your lover killed your friend, you hear me? And that wasn't even the case, you hear me? I didn't know what the fuck happened, you hear me? All these shots go off in front of that crib, I wasn't there, you hear me?
Right.
You know? But my kid was there, and his mom was there, and his grandma was there, and the twin girls was there, and the little brother was there, and the oldest brother is down the street hustling, you hear me? You know, he have a job, so he was hustling. You know what I'm saying? So they called him and called him and told him what happened. He hit the gunshots already because he down the streets. You hear me? So he bring up something like, I had an altercation with his sister the other day or some goofy shit. Put me on a different crime scene. You hear me? You know what I'm saying? This ain't had shit to do with the case. You know what I'm saying? These people's asking you something about what happened now. They ain't asking you what happened in the past or whatever the fuck you making up. You hear me? So at the end of the day, it's just like, it was a lot of bullshit stories that's going on. And I didn't really get a chance to really understand either one of them. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, I forgive. Everybody had something to do with my situation, but I don't know if they even forgive themselves for what they did. You understand what I'm saying? Because it takes a lot of guts and a lot of heart to do shit like that. You hear me? You know? And like I said, I forgive it. I forgive them. And I had to break it down to my youngest son for him to understand it because they wouldn't even tell him what really took place. I told my youngest son about the situation because not to hurt anybody's feelings because they didn't ever break it down to him. They just told him I was a good father, I was a good dad, but his dad is basically on a trip. You hear me? You hear me? You know,
That's crazy.
how can you leave? You can't leave your kid blind like that and have him wandering around like, I'm a good dad, I'm a good dude, but you don't even tell him the whole story. But I broke it down for him to understand. Like, look, you check your mom, you check your grandma, you check your uncle, you check everybody you love, and I never badmouthed him to them. You understand what I'm saying? I never said nothing badmouth because I'm not that type of dude to badmouth my kid about something he loved both parents. You hear me? You know. And this one of the reasons why he don't know both sides. You know, because it's good for him to know both sides to get a better understanding about life. You know what I'm saying? You know, you got to have him to understand, like, okay, we know all family and friends be all over the place most of the time. Family members and family, we don't fuck with this side, we don't mess with this side. But he never got a chance to mess with my side. Only thing he messed with is me. So it's just like, for a kid to be lonely like that and lost and confused and he going through his mental health, you know, doing all type of little things trying to find himself. But he a handsome young man, he's figuring it out, he's smart, and he intelligent. He graduated out of high school. He took a couple of classes in college, and I admire him for that. And I try to have a better relationship with him, not to keep no secrets away from me. And I'm not gonna judge him because I'm asking for him all these questions.
Right.
I want to be able for him to keep it 100 with me, and I'll be able to keep it 100 with him, even though as we like it or not. You understand what I'm saying? And that's how I want his moms to be that person to him too, to keep it 100 with him, rock with him. That's your boy. You know what I'm saying? So, because if he catch a case today or tomorrow, how can his moms explain his situation about him catching a case? Oh, son, you need to cut out hanging with your friends for you end up being in the wrong place at the wrong time. It's hard for her to say that, and she a part of my situation, and I understand that. You hear me? I understand that. I understand it early, being young. You know what I'm saying? And how can you tell your boy something, and how can you tell your girl something, and something you had a part of doing? You made a mistake. So if your son or your daughter catch a case, you can't tell them basically like, you out there fucking around, playing with your friends and shit, and now look what you locked up now. You hear me? You know what I'm saying? Because your kid will end up throwing this situation in a fit. And I had this conversation with my youngest son to keep it 100 with him. If your moms have a conversation with you about what you doing in the streets, admire that. You hear me? Take that in heed. Don't be very disrespectful. You know what I'm saying? Because I want him to really understand that he still had two parents, still living. And that's the grace of God. We both are still out there. She in a different place and I'm in a different place. You know what I'm saying? So, and it's good we can have these conversations and chop it up and put the past behind. Because I'd rather tell my child what's going on with me for him to learn it from his friends and be embarrassed. You understand what I'm saying? So that's the reason why I want y'all to learn it and get a better understanding. Don't judge. Don't be very disrespectful. You know, because hear both sides out. You hear me? Because everybody make mistakes, you know. And I don't take this shit for granted, bro. You hear me? But I wasn't there when that took place. I was there that morning. But they try to link that McDonald's shit up with all the way in the middle of the night, like I'm supposed to be following him around to hurt him. And that wasn't even the case. You hear me? I wasn't following no motherfucker around. You know, I'm asleep. Got my kids with me and all that. You hear me? I would have had him with me. I would have had my youngest son with me if I could have took him, but I didn't want to fall out with my kid moms by taking him with me. So I fed him.
1 minute remaining.
I fed him and the twins, him and his aunties and his moms and his grandmama and his uncle and my cousin and me some McDonald's. And I sat over there that evening before school hours and smoked some little marijuana with the mama and the grandmama and my little cousin, and I left. You know what I'm saying? And when I get a call in the middle of the night, this what happened. You hear me? You know? But yeah, man, things like that happen. But we gonna finish chopping this up, Joe. You know, we gonna finish this conversation out. Love,
so,
man.
bro.
You just stay safe out there.
Yeah.
Keep your eyes open, man, and stay focused.